Welcome to Planet Pluto.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Woo, woo. Tango, bravo, bravo, tango, tango. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Planet Pluto Pseudo. Y'all know who it is, right? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, aka Key Lolo, coming to you live and direct from my granddaughter's YouTube room. That's right. I'm turned Kennedy's room.
Call it.
Kennedy, like, Grandma, Big Mom, you're gonna have to come on up out that room real soon now. Yes, so I'm here in Cleveland, Ohio, and then right over here in sunny San Diego, California. Hey, boo.
Sunny
is the one and only. Look at that, all that sunshine. Cheryl, Morrow, aka the Hair Oracle. What's happening, Blacks? What's happening? There's so much going on. It's just, oh my goodness, there's so much going on. I just don't know where to begin. But we are officially 86 episodes in. And we are on Planet Pluto Pseudo. So maybe we could get us some space helmets or something. You know, something very space odyssey, because they're like, y'all don't look like y'all on the planet, but we are on Planet Pluto Pseudo.
Yeah, and we on that planet.
Yeah, we're on Planet Pluto Pseudo because planet Earth is well, on this side of the Earth, it's kind of, I don't know. Anywho, if this is your first time, maybe you're new to the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel, I believe we are about 5 more subscriptions, just 5 more subscribers to get us to 3,000 subscribers. Just 5 more folks, okay? And it's 5 watching right now. I see you. That's a whole lot of people on YouTube. I don't care what y'all think, okay? And so if you're new, you're like, well, wait a minute. I done took my helmet off. I done got off the mothership. Hopefully you are getting off the mothership, okay? And you're wondering exactly, I mean, what is Planet Pluto Pseudo? Planet Pluto Pseudo is where 2 aliens, Ladosha, Wright, Cheryl, Morrow. I am a licensed cosmetologist and an Afro hair activist. That's right. And Cheryl is a cosmetic trichologist, and she's the heiress to the California curl empire. And we are just 2 zany, brainy professionals in the industry, and us can't take it no more. So what we do here on this planet is we just bust up all the pseudo crap that somehow kind of crept this way into our industry. And it's causing some situations like what we're going to be talking about tonight. And so it's specifically for licensed professionals. So if you are a cosmetologist, a natural hairstylist, a nail tech, a makeup artist, a barber, or maybe you're a hair aficionado, you know, people who just be at home and they just love hair. Any hair junkies? Where are my hair junkies at? I know we got some hair junkies in the chat. So that's what this podcast is for. That's what it's all about. So we are here to help you guys, you know, just break it up so that you're not out, you know, in the hair salons repeating some of this crazy nonsense that's taking place. I love social media, but sometimes social media can get a little, you know, and when you look at the idiot in chief, that is a prime example. That idiot in chief, man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I mean, what's up, Misha? What's up, Real Roots? All right. How you doing? LB, you ain't got my bologna sandwich. I'm feeling some kind of way. Misha, I saw your post earlier. She said, networking can get you into places degrees won't. You better not tell that to Donald Trump now, because Donald, you know, the number 45, they do not like people with degrees. Did you know that?
I don't know.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute, y'all. They said we gonna take all that money. They said Harvard getting all that money. They don't need no money. We gonna take all that money and we're gonna give it to trade schools. Wait, let me tell you why. Because college universities are full of uppity LGBTQ folk. Well, you don't want to take none of that damn money and put it in the trade school because I'm telling you right now, ain't no more live dope. I'm talking our industry full of LGBT. Where my gay people at? Where my gay people at?
Wait. Hey, did anyone say cosmetology school?
He said
over here.
He said we're gonna get them as if trade schools don't have gay people, baby. You coming to the world of barbering. Have y'all been to a barber school or a cosmetology school? That's what gay people everywhere. I don't know what this fool talking about. Where my gay people at? I hope y'all not ashamed. My son was gay. Okay. I used to ask my son, like, could you just please try just one vagina?
What are you talking about, mama?
My son was like, listen here, it ain't never gonna happen. I'm telling you right now, gay guy in my salon. And people be like, is he gay? I said, no, he's just gay happy. So let me just tell y'all, okay, that administration is going to be in for a rude awakening when he finds out that gay people attend trade schools.
I know, but why is he almost 80 and he don't know that?
He know. He know he swang. You know he just swang both ways. You know he the wicked. That's how he know.
Wait a minute. He just mad at Harvard.
He mad at Harvard
because his son didn't get in.
I just don't want to believe that, y'all. I know. I don't want to believe. I don't want to believe no white guy that this man he supposedly is a billionaire. Like, does his son really have to go to college?
Yeah.
For what? I mean, that's what the gay people. He don't want his son around no gay people. That's what he just said. I just cannot. I know I'm not the on. Come on, Twitter. I mean, come on, Twitch. Come on, Twitch. Wake up. Come on, Instagram. Stop. Come on, IG be a little boo. Oh, wait a minute. Instagram off the Richter scale. What's up, Jacques? How are you doing? I see you looking good. Tia, what's up, Tia? Is it treaty? Okay. The root. Snap. The root doctor. Come on, root doctor. Talk about gay people. Holistic living. Talk about gay people. The official KLB. What's happening? I'm telling you, this president says. I heard his that what you call those people that talk, the press secretary.
Right.
You know, everybody got blonde hair. You know they say about them blonde people. Hey, I gotta represent for the blonde, at least the blonde Negro.
That's
anyhow, because y'all know there's a culturation up in here. Look at me, I'm acculturating.
I'm a dishwater blonde.
You're a dishwater blonde. Ooh, what a blondes at? We got some. Let's see. We got some LGBTQs. We got some gay people.
Absolutely.
You know, do they say faggots anymore? Can you say that? You know, back in the day, okay. No, you can't say that. Okay, so you know, blondes. I'll click at all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And wait a minute, I just got to clear it up one more again, y'all. That lady, I don't know her name, but she's the press secretary, and she said, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing, we don't want our money going to Harvard. We're going to take that money and give it to the trade schools where the real Americans are. The real Americans are in trade schools and the real Americans with real jobs. And we don't want that our tax dollars going to Harvard where the LGBTQ getting those degrees. I'm like, Negro. I called her a Negro. Yes, I did. Come on now, girl. I want to say something. You know, you got to watch out on these social media. Girl, now you know gay people go to trade schools. Now, they was... And I don't know why people who own trade schools, y'all need to let this man know gay people go to all kinds of schools. They don't just go to Harvard.
But what I am embarrassed about is the fact that he said it. I'm so embarrassed.
And so now it's trade schools against people with degrees. So we go pit people.
Right, so now we got a trade war. We got that going on. Now we're gonna have a degree war.
So I guess now you need to be ashamed if you have a college degree. I'm gonna tell you right now, I got a piece of degree, and I'll be like DMX, my boss in the chat. When I got my degree, I was like, y'all gonna make me act a fool up in here. You know you can't get no black folk no degree. Y'all know when y'all give us look, oh,
Wait a minute. So I think when he said LGBTQIA, right?
uh-huh.
It was a little cultural signifier to black people.
So they not all black people gay now? Is that what he said? Me.
No. But what I'm saying is, he wasn't meaning. Well, what was he meaning? Straight white people?
No, you got to, y'all go watch it. The lady said, y'all know I would not lie to y'all. My last name is Wright.
Okay, so let you don't want to unleash.
I don't understand why the white people who are in these spaces, why don't y'all speak up? Y'all talking about why the black people ain't protested. Why don't y'all speak up? Number 45. There are gay people in I went to a cosmetology school. I own a hair salon. That's a trade. That's a vocation. They don't call it vocation. I don't know what they career. I don't know.
Wait a minute. Give us the money.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Come on with
it. If Trump give hair salons and cosmetology schools and everybody more money than Harvard, y'all know the name of my cosmetology school, Misha. Hold on. I'm telling you right now, the name of that cosmetology school gonna be bliggity biggity black LGBTQ. Can you believe this man and this woman is saying they're going to take the money from Harvard University and they're going to give it to trade schools where the real Americans are.
First of all, I'm sure at this point Harvard is it's got to be over 100 years old.
Ain't that's America's oldest university, or is it the first or something like that?
I don't know why they playing. That's okay.
What's that new word? They wanted to capitulate. I like to say that word, capitulate. Capitulation. It sounds all fancy. Capitulation. They capitulated. They want people to just kind of cave. I mean, has anybody ever heard? I went to college, okay? I just gotta brag a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Okay, like remember in college, like they would have us like read these or like crazy books, you know, like what I'm saying. But one of these crazy books they had us, I don't remember it like vividly, so y'all know I was kind of drunk in college. Oops, I'm sorry. Does the president know we get drunk in college too?
You what?
We get drunk in college. Anywho, and so we had to read this excerpt or something on the tyranny of majority.
Okay, they don't want the money because they think there's trans people in Harvard.
Right, it's the trans uppity. It's because they think they're so smart. That's who's getting all of the money. It's just the smart gay people. They are messing up America with these degrees, thinking they something because they got a master's and a PhD. Do you know what it takes to get a PhD?
Well, he would never know.
Oh, you'll get us flagged. Hey, YouTube, I didn't say that. Oh my God.
He would never know.
I just don't understand the attempt to pit people with degrees against people who don't have
certificates.
But she has her degree, that press secretary. That's why when I had got into it with
well, I do think Trump has one.
You know, he got that out the bubble gum machine. Now, come on now, dog. Come on now, man.
In the hallway.
He bought that thing. Anywho. So we are 86 episodes and we talk about depression, and we're going to be talking about depression and hair loss, the white coats and the use of
the white coat and the scope.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on.
White coat and the scope.
And the scope. Hold on. Wait a minute. I got a white coat.
You got a white coat?
I got a white coat. Y'all think I keep telling y'all, but mine's this. I'm gonna tell y'all what mine's is from.
Mine is more of a crossbody lab
Hold
coat.
on, y'all like Key Lolo got a white coat. Look, y'all can, it's kind of dingy because it's been in my closet, but it don't stink, Lavina. So don't be saying nothing. Okay, VK, I hear y'all. Okay, I just want you to know I live, work, clean. We be clean up in here. So here's mine.
You gonna put it up?
Aha. So
Oh,
mine's okay because I am an instructor of cosmetology. Okay.
you gonna put it?
So I ain't putting this thing on. So sometimes I put it on when I try to show off, so people can think I'm smart. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about depression. We're going to talk about hair loss and the scope. And a lot of people are not aware, right? But this natural hair movement, because it's 25 years in to the natural hair movement. I'm gonna keep my white coat right there, okay? We are 25 years into the natural hair movement, and so now more than ever, and 25 years in, do we need to discuss what's happening in this world of natural hair? Because now trichology is something of the phenomenon. Okay, we're going to talk about who is a trichologist and all that other good stuff. We're going to talk about how they deal with hair loss and its association to depression. And I think a lot of times when people think about hair loss, they don't really think about depression as being real. And what I'm seeing with some of the people in our industry is it's not very scrupulous, if you will, for lack of better words, and how we deal with people who are struggling with hair loss, hair growth. And so tonight we're going to take that deep dive and help the people in our industry be responsible with whatever certification they have when it comes to hair loss, hair growth, whatever you want to call yourself. That's not our, you gotta get your coins now, gotta get that paper, okay? But we need to be in unison so that the public can see a united front. They need to see some consistency, kind of like, when you go to the doctor, you get triage, like they like wait, like, okay, give us your information. We're going to weigh you, check your blood pressure, so there are some things that just takes place before the doctor even sees you. Universal precautions, like the public expects that. They know that if the doctor does not wash his hands with a nurse, like, hey, get back out, so
Right.
in our industry, we need some universal practices when it comes to this thing called hair loss, because I can tell you, and there are some cosmetologists in the chat and some barbers like Real Roots. Don't forget, y'all check her out right here. On YouTube every Sunday at 8 o'clock, and she's also on Instagram. And so she can tell you, we do see a lot of situations, emotional situations coming out of hair loss. So Cheryl, being the cosmetic trichologist, she has a lot more education than I. And so we're going to have a really robust, what they call it, discourse. Okay. So we're not asking you guys to capitulate. We're not asking you guys to capitulate. We're asking you guys to be aware and be responsible with your leadership in whatever role you play in the industry as a cosmetologist, a trichologist, a nail tech, a makeup artist, a barber, and of course, a natural hairstylist. So we're going to just go ahead and hop right on into it. So I think the first thing people want to know, number one, let's start off with hair loss. Let's kind of explain to them what is hair loss, and then we're going to move it over into a little bit depression, and we're going to fuse in the trichologist and the use of the scope. And we got a little slides. If you need me to just put up, just let me know. So Cheryl, now if you have questions, we are not here my background is in mental health, so I take this very seriously. Oh, shoot, now we got Mr. Trichology himself in the chat. Mr. Trust is in the chat. Oh, shoot, now. Hey, Mr. Charles Trust from Decca. Now, when the company started watching, you're pretty good out here in these YouTube streets. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mr. Trust. That's right. Represent Decca. Decca in the house. I sells Decca, okay? Go check out Decca Plus over on Facebook and Instagram, DECCA Plus, Decca plus. All right. Thank you, Mr. Trust. We appreciate your support. And everybody, Instagram is looking pretty good. Hey, Miss Patra. Hey, Chris Boy. How you doing? So sure, let's start off. Let's define a little bit of what hair loss, because that's a really big, I think people need to be clear on what is hair loss. We're going to start right there.
Well, most people call it alopecia. Some people will call it hair loss, but it is usually connected to an abnormal um, loss of hair before it is either naturally or let's say other than hereditary, um, and so it can be induced by hormones. It can be induced by something external. It can be, or either what we call pulling, or
Oh.
and so, but from my perspective, I wanted to pull away from trichology a little bit because it is germane to hygiene. That is what Europe created it for. And I don't know how real, how they kind of, reformed it over the years. So I decided to make it akin to how cosmetologists and barber stylists can make it function in their everyday behind their chair in the cosmetological world, the chemistry world, chemical world. And so they could be more versed on what they do. And so when they see hair loss or conditions in scalp orders hair loss that stems from self-induced, chemical induced, or cosmetic issues. That's why cosmetic trichology, I put it on that end. Okay. And since hairstylists and barber stylists are the physicians of the beauty world, I decided to make it match their skill set.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you two questions. Okay. So, one, are you saying that within the framework of barbering, cosmetology, or barber stylist, and the natural hairstylist, there's something that's missing that trichology is trying to provide? Is that why they kind of shifted? Because you said originally it was about hygiene, right?
Yeah.
And so when I went, it was the study of scalp and hair properties. That's just what I was do reckon. I was old school. Okay. And so now you're saying, so that, number one, is that what you're saying? That trichology, the new meaning, is somehow trying to fill in a gap that maybe, like I said, that the disciplines of barbering, cosmetology, natural hairstyling, and barber stylist might be missing? That's the first question. And then the second question, if you could kind of go a little bit more into self-induced hair loss and a little bit more into chemical induced hair loss. So those two,
Well, when you read the history, because it comes out of Europe, it's a phenomenon of why Europe needed to deal with its hygienic issues, and pathogens, germs, and bacteria, and fungal. And so it comes out of a fear of water. It comes out of an era out of Europe trying to maintain just basic hygiene and all of the disorder. Let's say um, bacteria, right, or
Mhm.
mites, right, and other hygienic issues that Europe created trichology because the condition festered on the hair,
Mm.
scalp. And so if it was festering something around the body, it would go to the medical world. But if it festered in your scalp and hair, they created, I think it could be about 90 years old, but it does have,
Mhm.
it's quite, the practice of trichology is old. But making it um, conducive to other textures, making it conducive to a field that deals with a lot of chemistry and a lot of other elements it was not catered to that.
Hmm.
And so if I'm going to make a hairstylist or a barber stylist acute in their diagnosis and prognosis skills, how to do a process of elimination when you have a condition, how to be able to know what you're seeing and what to do, your decisions, your consultation style, how to extract information from the client if something is bothering them or they're concerned with their hair and scalp in some way, how to communicate with that. And so I thought that those two, and because trichology is general, I
Mm-hmm.
went something really skill specific to the salon.
Mm.
Right.
Okay. All right. So the trichology can aid in that
So,
extra.
right.
Okay.
How
Okay.
do I use trichology when I'm dealing with a pH problem? How
Okay.
do I, if I'm dealing with a shedding issue and it has nothing to do with nutrition? It has something to do from what I and we have done in the salon arena or what they've chosen to do. And since they've used this product, they bought this product. Why is now I'm getting a little more itching and a little more sensation, or I did this or I did that? That is a cosmetology relationship question at that point. And
Mm-hmm.
cosmetologists and barber stylists should, and natural hair care providers should be able to at least engage with the customer on that level. But if they only have trichology in just a whole set like medical school, they just have a Gray's Anatomy, like or cosmetology school, they just use the book. It keeps your scope of experience in a funnel.
Like you're contained.
Can't be able to make your body of knowledge expand to meet the customer where they are in the language of trichology, in the language of cosmetic treatments that we do in the salon. If you don't broaden that, and you don't have the language, and you don't have the product knowledge, or you don't have ingredient knowledge, you don't have a good command of chemistry in the trichology conversation, then you can't have it. Then you're
Mm.
going to pass someone to dermatology, and then dermatology, it's got Gray's Anatomy, of course, that medical book again. Boom. The client's not getting expansive and progressive treatment at that point.
All right. So let's see, because this particular podcast is for licensed professionals, can you guys drop in the chat if you've had any training on rather in trichology? Maybe you're certified in trichology, you've had some training like me, or maybe you've taken some courses and disorders of the scalp. We just want to know who we're talking to in the audience. Also, if you are a hair aficionado, let us know if you've contemplated, like, maybe I want to become a trichologist. So if everybody can just drop a T in the chat, so just so we can kind of gauge who we are talking to. And again, we are 86 episodes in, and we are discussing depression, hair loss, a little bit. We got to cover this trichology because these are now the quote unquote experts who have kind of taken this hair loss thing and they've made it its own way. And then we're going to talk about, are you using the scope? All right. So that's going to be our last question. So this is really content heavy. So I see everybody, we're looking pretty good. We're just rolling on all cylinders here.
You
So
want me to address your second question though?
yeah, I just want to make sure we get some interaction. We can get some likes.
Absolutely. And then and so to answer your second question, what is self or chemical induced? It's all about when a client interacts with choices. Let's say a choice of this particular shampoo or this particular oil or this particular conditioner or this particular hairstyle, this particular color job, this particular choice and things that they want to do or should they do, or they did it or they bought it and now they're having some adverse effect. That particular hairstylist, barber stylist, and natural hair provider needs to have the conversation where they are at that point. Symptoms, visuals, right? And being able to examine and assess. That is a particular skill that basic trichology does not engage with, because it's really not expecting trichologists to be hairstylists, and hairstylists are not expected to be trichologists.
Can you give us an example of like what you were talking about that may not be happening in an exchange?
Mm-hmm. And so let's just say when when let's say when something that I feel is out of my skill set or my knowledge base or my jurisdiction, right? I
Mm-hmm.
I may underserve that client.
Mm.
And then what I'm going to do, and one of the reasons why trichology kind of came in and filled the gap, is because hairstylists and salons and barbershops, right? And we're just passing them on to dermatologists.
Yeah.
Are assuming that the body of education and experience that dermatology has is now versed on the problem that is started in the cosmetology world. Okay. And
Okay.
trichologists are dealing with specifics in terms of bacterial and things of that nature, or autoimmune responses like areata. Maybe they are dealing with and trying to help them solve that, and nutritional issues or hormonal imbalances or mineral imbalances, whatever the case may be. But it's in a spectrum. And
Mm-hmm.
so if the client has something that deals with all three of those, and I pass them off to the dermatologist, then the dermatologist is only going to treat them within their body of knowledge. So
And
that
what
they,
is the body of knowledge that a dermatologist have that a cosmetologist has that a dermatologist doesn't have? Did y'all follow that one?
right. Okay, and so let's just say they do have um, ringworm, right? Okay, bacterial, or they may have a fungus issue, maybe a smelly scalp or a fungus growth, whatever the case may be. At that particular time, the the cosmetologist, I mean the dermatologist, if I see that and I say, "Ooh, I don't want to deal with that," right? I pass it off to the dermatologist, and the dermatologist is only going to deal with the pathogen.
Okay, so that's what's happening on the scalp.
The pathogen, right?
Okay.
The what is causing the ring, right?
Okay.
Okay, and so at that point, guess what? The dermatologist is going to prescribe a certain type of shampoo.
Right.
Okay, and that shampoo is designed to dry up that particular and scab that and to rob that bacteria, right?
Correct. Okay.
But the client needs that plus a haircut. Plus, it's going to ringworm tends to scar, right? It may scar sometimes, right? And so at the end of the day, if that client were to go to trichologist, he may not get the medicine that of the medicine shampoo, may get an over the counter, but then at the end of the day, the boy needs or girl needs a haircut. And
No.
so to bridge the whole thing together and to allow the cosmetologist to understand that you can be a lot more in control here. Okay. Or you may be able to cut the hair down low enough and to make sure, and then be able to call the dermatologist and tell them my client is coming in. What would you, just, prescribe is usually a steroid, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or a antibacterial, right? Or antifungal. But those are over the counters. But at that time, the cosmetologist may not be comfortable in diagnosing ringworm, right?
Mm. Right.
So, and not necessarily that you have to, but you are in control of the client.
They do teach us.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are in control, but the solving and the diagnosing prognosis process is most often 9 times out of 10 is so far removed from the barber and the natural hairstylist and the cosmetologist that they just throw up their hands and don't realize that that's your client. You're directing traffic.
Mm. Mm.
right?
Okay. Right.
And what you want and what you say. Like, let's say if she has 6 or 7, 8, 9 inches of hair, and you already know what that dermatologist is going to do, you're going to tell them, well, I'm going to deal with the issue, but I'm not going to be using your shampoo. It's going to dry my client's hair out. This is what I'm going to do after that. And you don't necessarily have to tell them that, but you have to be aware that
Hmm.
that particular antifungal or antibacterial, that's going to dry the client's hair out, or whatever the
Yes.
case may be. You have to just be present and aware. And cosmetic trichology just makes them more confident, more comfortable in their knowledge base, to where they can direct traffic with their client instead of just passing them off.
Right, right, right. And I think that that could be a little bit intimidating,
Yeah,
for us, all of us. I mean, well, some, I shouldn't say some, but not all. I think that when people come into the hair salon, and because we are trained, we
you
probably
trained in
can't.
beauty school about all of it.
Yeah, we probably can't
Fingernails,
yeah, we
you
probably can't effectively diagnose because we can't do biopsies, but we can have a
that's
good
a whole
guess.
other thing. Yeah,
You know what
that's
I'm
a
saying? Yeah. So when we see stuff, I think that when we see stuff and we know, like, maybe this has to go to the doctor, right? And so we just automatically send it over. We forget about the hair.
mhm.
And because sometimes, like, I'm just going to show this. I'm not trying to be picky or anything. Okay. So let me just show this as an example. Okay. Let me just share my screen right quick. All right. To your point. All right, so here we go. So this is a common thing that we see in the hair salon. All right, we talk about um, a scalp condition such as folliculitis, dandruff, you name it. The dermatologist for sure is going to prescribe this keto. I can't pronounce it, Canazo or something like this. Okay,
Mhm.
if you are a licensed professional and you have seen this in the chat, again, put I've seen that too. Okay. Let us know if you've seen this particular shampoo come through your place of business. The customers come in and they have this stuff. But then,
Mhm.
like Cheryl says, we know for a fact the hair is going to more than likely come out. And you try to just put it on the scalp because, like you said, how a client interacts with their hair. So the
Well,
dermatologist,
the dermatologist is not concerned with your hair.
right?
They're
You beat me to the point, but go
Right.
ahead.
They
Damn
don't
it.
ever think that a dermatologist is knowledgeable. They are not there for that. They are to be able to actively, with their license and with their knowledge, to be able to prescribe certain things that are beyond the scope of over the counter. And it usually has inactive, right? And so medicines are usually actives. They'll have 1% of this, or 2% of that, or 3% of
Right.
that, 5% of that. Okay. And it is usually to stop something. Okay.
But this is a nice segue into the depression part, Cheryl,
Mm-hmm.
because there we go. We got some in the, yeah. Why can't they just work? Yeah. Okay. We got some good questions in the chat here. Um, so here's where the depression comes in. Let's take it a little deeper,
Yeah.
because now the
I
customer,
can't read that.
hmm?
And I'm just saying,
Oh, I'm gonna get to him. Yeah, I'm just trying to build it up. I'm trying to build it up here. So we're moving into the depression. The customer has come to the trichologist. They've went to the dermatologist. They've been prescribed something like this, and the hair continues to come out. And nobody is really helping them. The cosmetologist is afraid to tell the dermatologist, "Yo, that shampoo is not working." The dermatologist knows the hair is coming out, and now we have a depressed customer. And so the first question is, Cheryl, for the love of God, let me put it up. I'm trying to get it up here. Here we go. For the love of God, Cheryl, why can't we just work together? Because now we have a depressed client. She doesn't trust us. the dermatologists, I don't care what color they are. Why can't we just work together to resolve and be honest that for some, that shampoo does make the hair come out? I'm just saying.
Let me, hairstylists, natural hair care providers, but in barbers, their first point of contact, they are your client, they're your patient, and so you have to be comfortable and confident enough to be able to have the conversation and direct them either to a dermatologist, gynecologist, endocrinologist, or their medical general practitioner. You're not comfortable in doing that, and that's why we can't just work together. Because of course there is a natural, and like you said, Ladosha, there is a natural intimidation, right? There's a natural intimidation from cosmetology because cosmetology has been treated, or cosmetologists, barber stylists, and naturally any hair people, they are the sticky shit under everybody's foot.
All right, where my cosmetologist at? Do y'all agree with that? I do.
You're the higher, the doctor's the hierarchy, and then the trichologist is the white coat and the scope. And so, because you got clippers in your hand and scissors, and then the other person's got, their natural remedies and what they're doing in their hands, right? And their skills and their experience. And cosmetologists also has actives, and we use, ammonias, and we use thiols, and we use hydroxides, and we use other types of things, and hair oils and water and things of that nature. But we're the sticky shit under, somebody's foot. But we have to get rid of the hierarchy.
So that's why we can't work together, Real Roots is, and see, that's what I'm saying. This stuff that Donald Trump and them are pushing, that people with degrees, they're hoity-toity and they're gay. Good Lord, have mercy. I mean, this is why we can't work together. Now, I'm just gonna be honest. I ain't trying to brag now, but I'm just telling the truth according to proof. When we did the very first Afro Hair Science Summit here in Cleveland, Ohio, we had the blessed opportunity. Thank you so much, Christina. We got the opportunity to actually teach dermatologists. We sat in the room with them. Cheryl was able to train all of us together. So we have tried, but there is the answer to that question of why we can't work together. We have another question. Hold on, Cheryl.
Put me up big. I can't see nothing.
Okay, hold on. Let me just take that down. All right, there we go. Okay. So the next one is what about derms who are cosmetologists and specialize in textured hair like some Black dermatologists do? Dr. Yolanda Lindsay is one. She is a dermatologist and a cosmetologist, and she specializes in textured hair care. So what about that 1, 2, 3 punch? Could that be a solution that a person could just get all three?
It could very well be a solution. It could very well be a solution. But once again, the straight-laced book versions of these practices, trichology the way it is, cosmetology school the way it is, right? And
Dermatology,
trichology the way it is a cookie cutter approach. And let me just say this: it has been my experience that you only duplicate what you've learned. And when this is the problem. And let me just say this: I'll be very frank with you. Until professionals begin to write the books, you are going to be corporately and state educated. The profession in and of itself. That's why in medical school, you pass the board, you open up your mind past Grey's Anatomy, right? And you go into the doctor's offices, and they have these boards, and they go board certified this, board certified that. The boards are specialized, expansive, out of the scope of their medical school that they got taught. In cosmetology, we only have the book, and then we get into the salon, and then you have to learn professionalism all over again. And then you have these extra higher learning courses and things of that nature. But to make sure that any professional like a derm that goes into cosmetology, once you get to textured hair and you specializes it, that particular person is making it up as they fucking go. And I know.
I want to say this. And because what we're saying, in case I'm just gonna kind of, and you could tell me if I'm
they
wrong.
Don't have any checks and balances.
Yeah, because when we go to school, like let's just take real roots, right? So she says, what about derms who are cosmetologists specializing in texture hair? So we know for a fact that they're all working from this picture right here, right, Cheryl?
Yeah, that picture.
Yeah, everybody in the cosmetology barber industry, they are working from that picture, okay? And there's a problem with that picture.
Well, even for straight hair, it's a problem with that picture.
Yeah, it's a problem with the picture. But we do have alternatives to that they are not aware of, and I'm just gonna put them up right quick. And so she says she's a dermatologist, she's a cosmetologist, she specializes in texture hair, but her anatomy ain't looking like this. All right, when it comes to texture hair, we know it's not looking like this. And this is where the depression comes in.
Yeah.
Because as a dermatologist, as a cosmetologist, as a trichologist, you are 9 times out of 10, you are learning from this.
Yeah.
That is not the only way. And you saw in our documentary, we had the late Dr. Jackson talk about the anatomical renderings and all this stuff that doesn't really match the reality. So this is why we see professionals who profess to have these 3 disciplines, but they can't meet the demands of the marketplace, because here we have a podcast dealing with the depression that people have when they paid their copay. Not to mention they're taking money out of their checks, or if you're like me, you're on Obamacare, you're paying for your own, or just out of pocket, and you still don't have your hair. But you're being seen by a person who has these 3 disciplines. I'm not saying she's not successful, but we know for the most part, a lot of people are not experiencing a lot of success when it comes to getting the hair to grow back. And let's talk about that. Why is it that we have such a large increase of this discipline called trichology? Because it falls under vocation. And they gay too. I hope y'all keep saying that, okay? But we don't see a reverse in hair loss. As a matter of fact, I think we're seeing more hair loss associated with the new Y2K natural hair movement than we did back in the day when we had the hot comb alopecia. You got to be old school to know about the hot comb. Remember that hot comb alopecia or something like that? Why are we seeing...
That's one example. That is probably the best, because hot comb alopecia is so inappropriate. The term. And so because Black people, and we get into the plantation beauty, hot comb alopecia is to be able into Europeans' mind, because they are the writers of the books, their mind, the hot comb was causing it. Okay. And of course, studying under a man that challenged the best doctors in the military, in the Pentagon. Okay. You have to understand, all bets are off and everything is reversed when you are dealing with Afro texture. Period.
Meaning?
Meaning water is different, pH is different, heat is different, chemical timing is different, depositing is different, extracting is different.
Why don't they want to talk about that? I know I'm digressing, but it leads to depression because the customer, you got people on YouTube pushing this stuff and they know. I saw it. I would see it, like, and they would.
It's almost like this. It's a good example that you mentioned it. To be able to have a conversation with a Black woman that that all medical doctors know, all endocrinologists know, all gynecologists know that Black women have a different set of medical needs. Okay, blood pressure, weight, stressors, diet, environment exposures. So their body chemistry is different. So when you go and have a conversation with them, to have a conversation about hair loss with a Black woman, knowing that culturally, right? That's one. Culturally, she has different challenges with hair. One, hormonal. Most Black women have just as much testosterone in their body as the average Asian male, right? In certain degrees of men around the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's also heightened in high stressed geographical area, hot areas, cold areas, not so cold, tropical areas, and all of this, and to be able to tell her, oh, you have male pattern baldness, to be able, knowing that Black women have very high and unstable levels of estrogen, right? And so the key is, and then they go through their peri menopausal a lot faster, in depending on the stressors. But the point here is to be able to just throw that word out, male pattern baldness or female pattern baldness, to a Black woman is a little, I wouldn't say disingenuous, because they don't know. So it would just be, to me, it would be a just illfully maybe disinformation.
Right. I think that
because you can't diagnose them the same way.
I think, and you guys let me know in the chat if you agree with Cheryl's statement. I'm gonna ask the question, right? And then I'm gonna you gotta hit that thumbs up button, because I see Wike saying hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button. So I'm gonna ask you guys the question, and Cheryl, you can answer. Everybody else, please get ready to answer this question. But when we think about this whole depression, the hair loss, the trichology, the use of the sculpt, I think something bigger is being overlooked. And I know it's hard for all professionals, whether you're a dermatologist, whether you're a trichologist or a cosmetologist, a barber, stylist, a barber, or a natural hairstylist. It is very difficult when you talked about self-induced hair loss. I don't think that's getting enough attention, especially in this new Y2K natural hair movement. And I think that's being overlooked. And I just wonder, do you guys agree? Because that's a new word that I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know everything. But that's something that I want to know. What do you think? I don't think these professionals are even addressing the role that the consumer plays in their hair loss, which that adds to depression. All right. So answer that. But in the meantime, go ahead on and do this, right, Cheryl? Right now, do this. Pampa me on. Pampa me on. What's up, Alina? How you doing in the chat? And I think that is something we when you're talking about depression and hair loss, you have a reality that there is some help for people who have a diagnosis of male pattern baldness, alopecia. There is something there for them. But what about those people who are contributing? Because a lot, and I know it's hard, because it's hard for me, to say to, you the problem.
Well,
And
that's where the protective hairstyle came in. The protective hairstyle came in to keep Black women's hands out of their damn hair, so they can have some, I guess, for next year or something. And it's real. I'm not downplaying it, but let me say this: induced, and this comes after role playing and following and shadowing a cosmetic trichologist. Okay. Now, where and I'm going to answer your question, but here's where the scope comes in, because the eye of the stylist, barber stylist, and the stylist. When I say stylist, I'm including everybody. Is not acute yet. Their ears are not acute. Their nose is not acute. Okay, yet. To be able to put the stories and the extraction of the information in the hair coaching section, in the consultation, they are not sharp yet to be able to hear and to see and to smell, right? And so the scope is there to fill in this gap, to kind of do nothing and then do something at the same time.
Okay. You going there. Okay.
And so, and it just magnifies, and it's a wow factor. But at the end of the day, you may see, flakes, or you may see things that glow, that are translucent. Usually those are oil based. Okay. But you can see, it's just there to be able to have a wider scope of the rate of something. Right. And so that's how basically the scope comes in. But to answer your question about self-induced could range either from cosmetic mutilation. I can tell when someone is sabotaging what I'm talking, the work I'm doing, because they either don't believe, or they have some other conditions that belong to the Afro dysmorphia. Okay. Also, but before, and then there's some self-induced hair losses that they continue to use something that I told them, or they told themselves that they just want to use, right? Usually
like
wax, oils.
Scope around to find out. Go ahead.
Right. And usually there's some forms of tea tree. They love to use tea tree, or these oils are very hot. And they just keep using water. They self-induce. It could be also hair pulling. It could also show up in just negative talk, right?
Yeah, that people swear.
Right.
They hear, because Esther is saying, she says, I don't know. I see people talking about braids and products causing hair loss when used improperly. We get it from the professional standpoint, but we're talking about when people do that themselves.
That's in the category of self-induced, because they're doing the reading. And even though they'll ask you or I or a professional, they still are addicted to their friends, their colleagues. They'll listen to reviews on websites or something of that nature, and you'll explain to them why they need to back away from this for a while, or whatever the case may be. I mean, because of course, I've had hundreds and hundreds of clients that will swear, and they don't realize at the end of the day, I am smarter than you in your best day. I'm your guru. I know what you're telling me because I know what I'm seeing. And so even when they still tell me, no, I didn't color, I didn't do this, no, I didn't do that, or I'm doing this, my whole point is, is that is not to kind of penalize me and make it my fault. It's the rabbit, kind of the hamster wheel.
I think the depression is falling
Yes.
in. I'm gonna say that that type of neurotic and that anxious, and sometimes it can be sullen. You know, people can be withdrawn when it comes to this hair thing. It falls, and I'm not. This is such a hard topic because we don't want to pick on people, but even and you talk about this our language, these words that we use, like protective hairstyles.
Mhm.
Somehow, somewhere along the way, the notion that you can escape
Mhm.
caring for your hair through something called protective it's just it's
Well,
unbelievable
well,
because
protection means that there's something to protect.
well, now Kafele did clear that up. He told us that in that world, the protection is to protect the customer's fingers, you know, to
No, no,
keep
no, no.
their hands
Right,
out
right,
of
right.
their hair.
While acknowledging that, there is usually a mistake going on, that like physically, like on their hair. There's usually something that it may be fine to them, or it may be hanging on a thread. Oh my God, there's something in their mind they feel they need to protect. Now, even though we've made an overall arching, really got to the root of it, that the protective hairstyles is actually protecting, you know, their hair and putting it away so they won't touch it, right? But even in that, that as a solution is not a solution.
But it has not to me.
Yeah,
I don't think that that conversation of protective hairstyles and its association with another, you know, more hair loss or new people rather,
yeah,
a bigger population of people with hair loss and how that's very depressing. I just think that and when people try to do it themselves, you know, like you said, the hair tells us a story.
yeah.
We are trained, like Cheryl said, you have to have the eye and the nose and all of that other stuff
Mhm.
to be able to discern you're not telling the truth, number one. And number two, what's the solution? And being depressed
Mhm.
uh,
But
has behaviors that comes with it, like not combing the hair, trying to find a way to
or irritation,
preserve.
just basic irritation. They're not listening to you, and they did the whole mistrust, and that they are, embarrassment, guilt, okay, and just a general, information overload, just total information overload.
But you wrote a can I show your thing now? Because you did offer some solutions. Now, if you are a hair professional, you could do this yourself, but I'm just gonna kind of add to the stage here. Cheryl actually put together a nice would this be a pamphlet, if you will, Cheryl?
This is about when I did practice in New York, actually. Uh,
Okay.
what I needed to guide myself, and this is what they got at home to track, and I allowed them to journal, right? Because I wanted them involved, and so they could turn the corner emotionally
Hmm.
and psychologically. I
Share
needed.
with us share with us in the chat, how are you helping your customers deal with depression or just that emotional roller coaster of hair blues. Okay, so you have some psychological advice, and you said you allowed them to journal.
Yeah.
So when they're feeling inadequate, how are we helping them with that? As I kind of click through, because you said they can
Right, right,
journal.
absolutely. And so one of the questions that they would ask, they actually feel alone. And so when, even if they're partnered, they feel that they cannot talk to their partners about it, or their husbands, especially their husbands. Their husbands are actually even embarrassed for them. They act like it's not there. And when you act like a woman's hair is not there, um, she feels ignored. And so it can fester in other areas.
Mm.
of
Mm,
life.
right.
That is the conversation they bring to the salon, because of course our job is to be one step ahead of them. We have to know that it does take a toll on how you feel as a woman.
So if you're saying we have to be careful of not poo-pooing a person who is legitimately dealing with hair loss, but here, just a little caption in your pamphlet is I've become obsessed with my hair problems. What else can I do to focus on something else? How can we as professionals, how can we help those customers who truly are out, they come in with those Ziploc bags and what you call envelopes. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Come on, hairstylists. And they're obsessed with hair loss. Okay.
Yeah,
How are we
they
not
they, they,
supposed to
they
do
are
that?
they are obsessed. But here's the thing. The key here is to what are we focusing on and what can we take out of the focus. Because if the focus, what we're focusing on is not helping, and let's just say, and I like to give examples. And so, well, when you, and let me just say this is not a behind the chair conversation. I've made a very, very good living on hair coaching. Make no mistake about it, because they don't have a place to be able to decide which way they're going, and sometimes I was not their cosmetologist, I was not their stylist, and so they can be a little more open about, because you don't want to, because the other stylist feels responsible, and they, and blah 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 blah, and they ain't not listening, they're defensive, their ears are
Mhm.
defensive, and so the key here is when I redirect, and we together as the client and we redirect their particular focus, where we're focusing on recovery, where we're focusing on better skill sets. We're not just focusing on the fact that we don't like it the way it is now. We don't
So
stay.
our job as professionals in the industry is
Mhm,
to give them some new skills. I like that. Hit
mhm.
that thumbs up button. If you're a cosmetologist, you work in the industry, you're a hair professional, and that's another good tip. Now, for our hair aficionados, what are you going to say to them when they say, "I have a friend who's losing her hair"? How can the hair aficionados help a friend who's struggling with depression and hair loss? How can they help?
And you're not really, which I agree, you're not really focusing on how bad they feel about, because you and you and them have not really talked about it, like you like really getting under the hood, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes I'm giving people and hairstylists, a way to what we call segues, right? Into
Right.
talking about the condition in and of itself, right? And then make the association that puts them in the center, right? And I've had, politicians, people who are in the public eye having that issue, and you're saying, I know you see it because I see it, but we don't talk about it, and we're actually close, right? And so giving the professional the segue to enter into the deeper part of the conversation, so you can help them and direct them to the right person, the right attitude, the right way to look at it, and the right way to approach it. And
Uh,
that is basically how you can help them, is just taking the heat and the pain out and the embarrassment out of the conversation.
And now for the hair aficionado, how can a friend help a friend? Um, like you said, I have a friend who is losing her hair. So, is there something that a friend could do that's different from a professional?
At the bottom paragraph there, when she begins to realize that it's maybe taking some tolls on her social life, maybe she's a little more antisocial, you can bring it up in terms of what's going on. I saw this article, I saw this book, or there is, is that something that, you know, that rings a bell for you? Is that in the conversation? I think that when how I put it, you want he or she to feel that you're actually genuinely concerned. Yeah, and that's just basically how you ease into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Real friends don't, especially if you happen to love your clients. I know I love mine, and
Right.
and they will call me if they have a friend, and so
Mm.
I will just pass it off to me because I don't want you guys to be messing it up. You know what I mean? And
Right.
they withdraw. But anyway, but go ahead.
No, 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 no. I think that's really good advice because I think sometimes when our friends are coming to us with a hair loss issue, I don't think we always poo-poo it. I think we just need some way, especially when you have a head full of hair.
Yeah.
Like when I come into the hair salon, I work in a hair salon. And so people don't think that I can really empathize with them because, well, you got a handful of hair.
Mhm.
But I've had some hair loss issues. I've had some medical conditions
Go ahead.
where my hair has come out. So I think to be able to talk to the novice, the everyday person, and give them some talking points of how we can really be empathetic to people who really are depressed about their hair loss, especially when they've seen the white coat, they've seen the natural hairstylist, they've seen the barber and the barber stylist, and they've been under the microscope, right? And they still, I'm just depressed. No, nothing is working. So the last point you have here is that general trichologist advice. And we just pointed out that they don't always have the right, that education is generic.
Mhm.
So how can trichologists get some of what you have to offer? I'm
Mhm.
going to take this down, and
Mhm.
then I'm going to put back up your rendering of the
Mhm.
scalp, okay? Because that's something that
Mhm.
see weekdays in the chat, like I don't have that. So we're saying that these cosmetologists are getting the cookie cut, the Grey's Anatomy, but they don't have the Dr. Morrow, the Cheryl anatomy.
Mhm.
Um, so why? How could this help the
Mhm.
trichology, and where can they come and learn more from you about this
Mhm.
anatomy of curly hair?
Mhm. This particular is a series of posters, right? That we can hang in our salons and we can hang in our barbershops and blah blah
I'll
blah blah.
show the first one too.
And you're right, right. And we do have them and how for barbers for the face. The key here is to understand that coiled hair in a coiled follicle in a follicle in a coiled dermis. The scalp, the house is different, the bulb is different, that produces a different hair. Everything is different because the result is different, right? And that is why I would like to be able to kind of talk to and hair coach the client in the approach of the advice and the approach of handling a person in this conversation. You know that you have to use language and sensibilities and sensitivities that is connected to them culturally, right? You know that there are certain practices that we do. And so showing them and understanding anatomically how the inner workings of a black scalp that produces a different hair that any or scalps all are different in terms of scalp fat. Everything is distributed to support the hair that it produces. And so
Mm-hmm.
natural curly coil black texture hair is flat in nature and it grows at an axis that, well, the follicle is sitting in the scalp different, right? And so that the whole conversation has to be from that perspective, not from a perspective of just one little shoot coming out like stubble. I mean, that is to say that every follicle in your body is basically looks like that cookie cutter, and it's not,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So
And so
therein lies the problem, is that generic that all the hair is looking and the skin and the follicle is looking like this, and they don't. And I know as a professional, I had a problem with it. I remember asking in cosmetology school, like, can we get another rendering? It's a human. It's all protein. With no shit, Sherlock. We know that the physiology of the hair is the
Right,
same. We're
right.
not saying
We
it's
know
a
it's
human.
keratin. Right.
Right. We know it's a keratin protein, okay? But
Yeah.
stop saying it's all the same when you know, like you said, it's going to show up on the eye differently. You can't deny that this drawing here, this rendering, is totally different from this rendering and this that is more appropriate, for our textured hair.
Right. So pulling, handling it, styling it, and because you guys also have to understand, put up the other, if you don't mind.
This one?
Right, and the reason why it's important to see the whole cross section of the skull and how the brain, because we have to understand that that's bone. So when we talk about things, causing cancers and things of that, there is no barrier there, and those chemicals do not break that bone.
Are you sure? Because they cracked that skull in that video and they pulled that skin. No, I'm just kidding. They did it.
Right. Also, the hairs going towards the nape area are not sitting in the scalp the same way as the follicles going towards the crown. And so everything is turned upside down. Let's just say if you have hair that is pointing down, and then this is where your length is. That your nape is considered the hair that is what we call down our back. So those follicles are turned upside down and they're going down.
Now, if a
right. And so when barbers go up with the clipper and they're causing the bumps here, they have to understand that you're going against the natural grain of the follicle. And so the follicle doesn't like that. It sends a message to the immune system and then creates what we call itis, folliculitis.
Eyes tired, eyes sleepy after I eat. No, I'm just kidding.
Inflammation, right. Creates a bump to isolate it. Maybe some dirt or germs or the infection, whatever the case may be. The scalp is it's part of your skin. It's living. And so blood, you have the blood vessels underneath of course, the dermis. But the point here is that it's spongy and it's breathing, right? And this diagram is going to make you respect different areas in all areas of the scalp, and the most different crown, what we call the crown area, is very compromised because it doesn't have a lot of that juicy stuff we got in the back or on the sides. And then as the hair comes through the front, so we're showing a complete picture in the Afro curly diagram versus just a chunk of a piece that is and so Afro cosmetology or Afro hair science wants you to be aware of the whole totality of the shape of the head and why you get certain conditions in this area, because you get traction alopecia here and you get it here towards the front, but you don't ever get traction in the back, right? Because the scalp's areas are different. And that's just basically what that diagram. And it's important that you have these in your practices because, of course, it tells.
But they don't know where to come and get that. Okay, they say you and Dolce got all this stuff, so we're going to show you guys where you can go.
Oh, you can get it there.
This is where you want. I want to learn more. We don't want you to just buy this and not have any education. You could. It is for sale. But Cheryl is going to be teaching this in detail. You can't get all this in the podcast. We're sorry. Go home, okay? But she gave y'all a little window now, very detail oriented. You can meet us in Houston this
September.
Fall. It's in September. Okay. We will be in Houston, Texas at Beauty Under One Roof. And so this is a boutique event for beauty and barber professionals. Okay. And Charlotte's going to be there teaching this very topic here. And she's going to have some of these posters for sale. They are available right now on the Afro Hair Science I'm sorry, .com. Thank you. So if you go to afrohairscience.com, you can purchase these. But if you like, well, I need some more context. We don't want you just buying them, putting them up. You ain't got this because all you got is this. Don't do the Donald Trump, you only got this one, don't do that. Okay. That has a purpose. We're just saying that there's levels to this. And so if you want to know more and understand the thought processes, the teachings behind this, Cheryl and I and Erica, we invite you, please join us. This is a wonderful event. Okay. Cheryl, go ahead. I'm sorry.
By the way, Mr. Morrow wrote the book from 1959 until 2007. I want you guys to know that I am an added extension, but this work is 63 years old. This is not, I didn't make this up. This was taught to the Pentagon. This was taught to the top general military surgeons.
Let me put that up while you're talking because they think this is a joke out here in these.
I'm not. This is not. Mr. Morrow wrote cosmetology books and taught the world's finest barber surgeons.
And check out our documentary here on YouTube. It's called The Narrative. We have it in 4 segments because we couldn't, just to kind of capture what's happening. This is what we're saying. They're not talking about it. Those women, the dermatologists, the cosmetologists, barbers, we know for a fact, we cannot deny this does not capture what we are dealing with behind the chair. We're just sitting there going, what is it called? Tyranny of the majority. Tyranny of the majority means the majority vote rules, the majority rules. And you see what's happening. The majority does not rule. Tyranny of the majority will not get you anything. It won't get you this, okay? So please go check out, learn a little bit more about the tyranny of the majority as I digress a little bit there. But sure, you said your dad.
But just to make a point, let me put that down so I can just at least show them this.
Okay, hold on, let me take this down. And you got a request for an online class, by the way.
Yeah. So it's this book, right?
Let me read it out. Hold it back up so I can read it, okay? Cosmetology, the art and science of curly hair. Look at that book.
Right.
Wouldn't y'all love that book? Wouldn't y'all just love that book?
Okay. Now, so y'all can just see. I ain't made nothing up. So I didn't make none of it up. This was okay. Wow. I didn't make none of it up. And it goes from cosmetology. Look at Mr. Morrow's diagrams.
Wow. Okay. Now remember, guys, he had the Pentagon. He had all these other experts at his disposal to help, as we say, make it make sense. He did not make this stuff up. This is a lot of study. Go ahead, Cheryl.
So shape, geomancy, geometry, and combing. Even from
look at Esther. Esther, like, holy smokes and gee whiz. Esther, you should have seen me when I met Cheryl. I thought I was the holy grail of Afro hair. It's unfounded. This is deep, guys.
Just in terms of hair shaft, and he really defines it out in terms of timing. He's got chemical, everything, just on how to do. And so, I mean, he's got, hair cutting. Everything is in here. From hair cutting to curl, hot curling, precision cutting. Everything in here. Even.
And this is what we've been doing. And
hair braiding.
Oh, my gosh.
Everything is in this particular book. Makeup, hairlines,
Oh my
makeup.
God. Makeup. Look at that.
What kind of
Who's my lips? They're my lips in that book.
So he went from, you know, and of course, because he understood that this is a black face. You can't approach a black face the way you do a white face.
I love it.
And
I'm
so
with you, Esther. Wowsy, wowsy, woo woo. Go ahead, Cheryl.
no. And of course, he wanted you to know how to, you know, roll a set. He wanted you to how to use end papers.
Because
You know,
I've seen some roller sets that, oh my gosh, I had a guess. Oh, I don't want to say it. I ain't gonna say it because she gonna know who she is. But
and
they
then
say bad roller sets. Oh wow.
so this is hair breakage, how to heal hair breakage, and how, you know, and just and what to do. And it's important, and you can see how it gets mended, split ends, how you get mended by using protein. And so he
And
went
this right here, while you're talking here, this is real talk, guys. Remember now, in 2024, no, 2023. This is where, oh no, it's 2024. Cheryl and I, well, I at that point, we went to introduce the nation's very first textured hair science bill. We are trying, guys. We are trying. We don't want it to be that we are the only people who are talking this stuff about this thing called curly hair science, Afro cosmetology. Like Cheryl said, this has been around for over, you said 60 years, right?
right, right,
That's older than me.
and just to make sure that you guys have credence,
Let me take that down. Sorry.
okay, and just so you can have credence, this is how you start and prepare hair for a press. And that's my mom, actually. She didn't I tell you that we ain't none of us in these books, because she was very serious about, you know,
Look,
you
they
know,
said they geeking out over the book. I
you
want that cosmetology book. You
yeah,
gotta come. You gotta come to meet us in Houston, guys. You gotta come meet us in Houston.
yeah. So
Okay,
this
that's
is
beautiful.
and and it was important for him to write it because he was a hairstylist. He was a professional, and he told, and I have pictures. I got the receipts. I got the pictures. He went up to Sacramento, just like Ladosha went up to Columbus, Ohio. You know, and he told them, you some of that shit you got to take out of the test because the shit don't make no sense. It is not scientifically true. Black people's hair don't work like that. That's number one. Number two, we have to write the books. The professional world has to write books. And
Say it again, Esther.
not to say that the
And you
state,
hold that book up while you're talking so they can see that.
mhm, and because not the state, right? And because not the state can't write the books, or Milady can't. And, you know, sanitation and sanitizing is good, but you need Afro hair science, and, you know, the arts and science of curly hair. Um, and you need
And
that. So
right.
he did
And
the bar.
because a lot of people find, I gotta put it up here. I ain't trying to be Petty Franklin, but I am gonna be Petty Franklin, okay? So this is Milady's book of natural hair. So people find this book. They think that this is the book uh, for natural hair care. And we're here to tell you. Let me just show it. Let me just share it right quick. We're gonna wrap this up. Hold on, Cheryl. I gotta show it. Because they want to know, like, well, what's the difference? You know, because this the book the state recommends, and we're trying to say, Esther, every serious cosmetologist, trichologist, dermatologist, barber stylist, barber, they need Cheryl's dad's book. Can you hold that book up again?
Mm-hmm.
And you saw the difference. The difference. I guarantee you that if you have the Milady standard on natural hair styling, right? I guarantee you that when you crack that book open and you look at the cross section of the skin, I promise you, you are going to see this, right, Cheryl?
Yep.
I guarantee you. I bet you $10 on a bucket of boogers. You ain't going to see this. This is not going to be in that book. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of you are going to feel the way that I felt when I found out that Cheryl's father had this book. I felt jilted because I thought Milady's standard natural hair care and braiding student, book was the holy grail, and was not aware that for over 55 years, 60 years, Cheryl's dad had that book available. That's pretty deep, dark,
And,
deep.
and let me just say this. I want you guys to look at this picture.
Let me take that down right quick so they can see it. I just want to take that comment down so everybody could see what Cheryl is saying. Okay, go ahead.
I want you guys to, why is there 4 there? Because Mr. Morrow wrote the book 400 years without a comb. So this lady here is how we came off the boat. Shame, the head rag, down here to the relaxer, and, or just pressing, trying to be presentable. And then, of course,
the Afro.
Yeah. The Afro, kind of natural hair, right? And so it's important. This artwork was done by a very famous, and what most people don't know, don't tell me how Mr. Morrow lucked up. Mr. Morrow was just, man, the universe just loved Mr. Morrow, because I can tell you, in San Diego, Mr. Morrow lucked up, and for some reason, he was an artist magnet. And so all 4 books, for all his illustrations, and he did this from his head, all of the artists, it must have been a good omen, all of the artists went to have very famous, prolific artists
careers in art.
After they did that. And so the picture that you just saw was done by an artist. Go look up his work, called Albert, Albert, Fennell. And I have like dozens of his original art. Albert Fennell, Fennell. Man, bad. And he was a San Diegan.
All right.
Jerry Logan, San Diegan. Joanne Cornwell Wheat, San Diegan. Man.
The list goes on. She could be here all night telling you about all the great artists that.
So that's who did the illustrations on the book. So even the illustrations in the book are absolutely masters artwork.
All right. So meet us. You want to know more about this? Don't cook it up. Get that plane ticket and book it up, all right? And meet us in Houston, Texas at the Beauty Under One Roof. And we'll discuss some of this stuff that we could possibly do online. In the meantime, let us congratulate Miss Lovey Lewis. That's why she got a recognition award from Tuba by way of the Beauty and Barber Collective. And this past Sunday, we hosted the Industry Fête du Jour, that's French for day party, salon, tools, and tech set at her school. It's called Love My Hair School of Cosmetology, where they teach 3 tiers, okay? 3 tiers of hairstyling. They don't have Dr. Morrow's book, but maybe we get Lovey on and we can talk to her about that a little bit more. But anywho, the tools that we feature was a scope and Dr. Morrow's blow dry comb and his Easy Tease comb. So we're going to do those again because the barbers saw that and was like, we want to know more about that. So we're going to feature that again. And I also have the comic book. So we're going to be at Milano's barbershop in June. So that people are asking, remember, this is free, by the way. It's free, okay? If you want to
we have and this is a digital version. You can get the PDF, the digital version of the book. You know, I have to send you this big ass.
Oh, she got the book in PDF. Watch out. Look at Esther. Let me just send it on in right now. Okay. So you can get that. What is the date? I'm sorry. I will get that date, but it is
September 13th, 14th.
September 13th, 14th is Beauty Under One Roof, and that's taking place in Houston. We're going to be having Erica on because next month in June, we're focusing. Remember, this is 25 years of the natural hair movement. So June is all about education. We are going to get us some heavy hitters on. And no, I'm sorry. June is not about education. It's about film. I'm sorry. It's about film. I jumped ahead of myself.
Film education.
Film. There it is. So next month is all about film, and then we come back with education. I got a little excited there. Okay. So next month, and we're gonna have some people in from the film industry. Cheryl just ran off a whole bunch of people. I have one person, and Cheryl's got a lot of people that she's gonna have on. So that's gonna be our focus in June. And then I think we'll be back Monday on. I'm sorry, we're on Planet on the dumbest shit talking about education.
Yeah,
so we're probably gonna have
when we come back. It's gonna be Dr. Joy, baby.
Yeah. We come back on Thursday with the one and only Dr. Joy. Does she know what she want to talk about? Because I had an idea, or does she have something in mind?
Well, listen. Dr. Joy is going to be blowing our mind with the perfect summer. I think summer diet. She changes it up because she believes that you should eat seasonally.
Oh, this is going to be good, guys. We're going to be here next Thursday with Dr. Joy, summer eating. Oh, I need to know that because I'm just trying to. All right, I think that's it. We're going to be back on Thursday, kicking it off June with Dr. Joy, and we're going to talk about summer eating. And then also our series for the month of June right here on Planet Pluto Pseudo will be the film industry. And then over on the dumbest shit, we're going to talk about education. We're probably going to get some guests on the dumbest shit, okay? Because we can't get everybody on that. So Monday, we're going to see, not this Monday, but we should get some guests on Monday, okay? Is that good? That cool? We find some guests? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this particular podcast. Thank you so much, Valita. Valita, I miss you. You got to bring my little poo-poo to come see me. All right. Okay. So thank you guys so much. This was very powerful as usual. That everybody rocked it out with us. Okay. Thank you, Instagram.
Wait.
Hey,
cousin,
I see you in Cali. Go ahead. Hey,
did I miss an LB question? I missed the LB question.
No, they were talking about pressing hair. That wasn't a question. They were talking about pressing curls. That was a chat conversation that I thought was a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They were in the chat having a whole conversation about pressing curls. So sorry, I was about to. All right, I think that's it. It's 10:49. It's an hour. Woo, we've been on here for a minute. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been an hour and for almost 2 hours. We gotta get up out of here. Okay, sure. Anything? Oh, don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Any closing thoughts as we wrap this up?
You said it all. Let's see you in September 13th.
All right, get ready to meet us at Beauty Under One Roof. And then don't forget, if you're feeling depressed about hair loss and this whole white coats and the scope thing, remember, Cheryl said, look out for the self-induced. All right, we got to think about how we talk to people, okay? And let's be of assistance, all right? And then she said, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. All right, guys, you have a good night. And you know what we say? We're signing out here, right? We always talking about good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. How about them apples, as my granddad would say?
Yeah.
Welcome to Planet Pluto.